Big trade. Huge trade in the National Football League today. Baker Mayfield is finally on the move from the Cleveland Browns, and he is going right here in North Carolina to the Carolina Panthers. Slated to be their new number one quarterback, it seems like, but it will be an open competition between him and Sam Darnold, it seems like, as we get closer to the start of training camp later this month. So Baker Mayfield finally on the move. Back earlier this offseason, formally requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns before they, traded for Deshaun Watson, right when that Deshaun Watson talk started heating up in Cleveland, before, it died down, reignited, and then the trade happened. This has been going on all offseason. The Baker Mayfield dilemma. What's going to happen with him? Where is he going to go? There are other teams that were potential suitors for Baker Mayfield. The Seattle Seahawks, most notably, over the last couple of weeks. But the Carolina Panthers have been doing their due diligence. They've been talking with the Cleveland Browns for weeks now, trying to get this deal done, trying to figure out the money and the financials in this situation and get a deal done to land Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield finally now coming over to Carolina, getting out of Cleveland, and now set to a more better and maybe supportive environment in Carolina with the Panthers now going into this season. So I'm excited for Baker Mayfield getting this trade done. I'm excited to see what he does now in Carolina. So let's analyze this trade. And first and foremost, what I want to do is talk about who won, who lost. And Baker Mayfield easily win. A win for Baker Mayfield, getting out of Cleveland, getting that trade, finalized that he wanted to do to get out of town, and also going to the Carolina Panthers. I mean, not a bad team to end up on, a easy, I would say easy, an easy division. I mean, you're going up against, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, the team you're looking up at right now with Tom Brady coming back. The Saints could offer a little bit of trouble, but the Falcons, they look like a bottom 5, bottom 3 team in the league this year. So a little bit of some easy competition in that division, the NFC South. And, I mean, defensively with the Carolina Panthers, they look right on track. And now this offense with Baker Mayfield potentially running the shots, throwing to DJ Moore, throwing to Robbie Anderson. We got Christian McCaffrey, hopefully healthy for a full season in the backfield. But that's a roster that can win. And what they have defensively, that's a roster that can win a lot of games this season. And, maybe make it in there as a wild card team. Maybe make it in as one of the 3 wild card teams. And Carolina Panthers could potentially be back this year with Baker Mayfield at the helm. So Baker Mayfield's a win. The Carolina Panthers are also a win. A conditional 2024 fifth round pick that they traded to get Baker Mayfield and also got him on a bargain deal. Easy win for the Carolina Panthers. Even if Baker Mayfield's not their guy, they're still paying, I think, $23 million with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on their books. So Carolina Panthers, that is a win for you in this trade. And also a loss. I mean, a loss in this one is the Cleveland Browns. I mean, yes, the Cleveland Browns got rid of Baker Mayfield, but ultimately, was that the right decision? We still don't know what the outcome's going to be with Deshaun Watson later. You would think this month, maybe in the next month. But once you get closer to training camp, we're going to get answers on Deshaun Watson. And right now, if Deshaun Watson gets suspended 6 games, gets suspended a season, 2 seasons, multiple seasons, whatever the case, they right now in Cleveland are going to have to rely on Jacoby Brissett to be their guy. And, maybe they signed him to start a couple games. I don't think they signed him to start a full season in Cleveland. And they rode Baker Mayfield out of town and now have no answers behind him if Deshaun Watson ends up getting suspended later this month. So a big loss for the Cleveland Browns, getting rid of their former number 1 overall pick, the guy that led them to the playoffs 2 years ago. And to shun him away this past season, shun him away this offseason, kicked him out of town. I think it's a loss for the Cleveland Browns. The other thing, maybe 2 losses in Carolina from Robbie Anderson and Ben McAdoo. I mean, Ben McAdoo, you talk about who he had ranked above Baker Mayfield in the 2018 draft class, and also Robbie Anderson. You're going to see it around on social media right now, but back when the Carolina Panthers maybe had interest in it, I remember there was a post on Instagram, and Robbie Anderson, the chosen one on Instagram, commented no with a lot of O's, I think maybe an exclamation point under that post of maybe Baker coming to Carolina. Well, Robbie, that's now the case. So if you think that maybe you're the big loser because of all this, that's something else from you, buddy. Because ultimately, I think Baker Mayfield is an immediate upgrade for this team. is a huge need that they needed. And, maybe Robbie doesn't want his, buddy replaced at quarterback in Sam Darnold. Too bad. It seems that's going to be the case once we get around toward August and September when games start. Baker Mayfield's going to be the starting quarterback of this team, and he's going to be the one throwing them the ball, and it's going to be an immediate upgrade over what this team had last year. So DJ Moore, you finally got a competent quarterback throwing you the ball. Robbie Anderson, get over yourself. He is now your quarterback. But the biggest loser of this trade, and I said it on Twitter, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks should have jumped on Baker Mayfield, and they did not do that. I talked about it, I think, 2 weeks ago on my NFC, actually early last week, on my NFC West season previews. The Seahawks are in trouble because on their quarterback roster right now, they have Geno Smith and Drew Lock battling it out for the starting job this season, and I don't know how Pete Carroll is going to live through it. I mean, I don't know how he is going to go a full season with those two guys as his starting quarterbacks. And the only thing Seattle can hope for right now is San Francisco cutting Jimmy Garoppolo, because there are no other quarterbacks on the market that I think will be traded before the start of the season. And I don't think the San Francisco 49ers are going to trade in division to the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seattle Seahawks missing out on Baker Mayfield, not making a trade, and getting in here before the Carolina Panthers were able to finalize this deal. They are the big losers of this trade. Now let's rely on our friend here, Mike Garafolo, to talk about just some financials. Pull up this tweet here from Mike Garafolo. The Browns will pay Baker Mayfield $10.5 million this season, which means they trimmed over $8 million in cash and salary cap space. The Panthers will pay Mayfield around $5 million, and Mayfield has agreed to trim $3.5 million off his base salary. So Baker Mayfield, what this means, took a pay cut to end up in the Carolina Panthers. This is always the big deal between this Panthers-Browns trade for Baker Mayfield, was who's going to take on the most of this salary. In this trade, Carolina didn't want to bring on the 18. It was over $18.5 million. The $10.5 million this season, which means they trimmed over $8 million. So it was over $18.5 million that they would have had to pay him, and they wanted the Browns to. I'm trying to remember. I think it was $14 million. The last reports that were coming out over this situation, but at Baker Mayfield, there you go, took a $3.5 million pay cut, allowed the Browns to only eat $10.5 million, while the Panthers are only paying him around $5 million. So what a bargain for a guy who's potentially going to be your starting quarterback this season. The Carolina Panthers did it right and got a big deal here to land Baker Mayfield now as their starting quarterback. So again, I like this trade. Big win for the Panthers. Big win for Baker Mayfield getting out of Cleveland. Huge loss for the Seattle Seahawks, the potential third team in the sweepstakes to land Baker Mayfield.